How's everybody doing?
Good. So, Sean, Neil just talked about O'Loughlin. Hopefully, he's going to be able to play game one. So,
Correct.
Start with him. What's he give you that you wouldn't have otherwise?
He's more of a, I guess you can say, a dual threat in the run and pass game. Just a little bit more athletic. Not saying that the other two aren't, but I'd say he's probably a little faster. And he's got more experience in the pass game than the other two. Brian coming from an offense that was more pound and ground, which he does a really good job in the run game. And then Traylon Davis just hasn't played a whole lot, but he may be the most improved player in the room, if I'm telling the truth. But yeah, Mike O, I mean, he gives us a little bit more freedom, spread him out in the box, things like that, if he can play.
Brian, one of the allures of coming here was an expanded role in the pass game. How was he?
So funny story. We keep pass stats from the spring, and I think he had a catch percentage of 40% coming out of spring ball. Coming out of fall camp, he's 100%. So he really worked hard at that over the summer and in the off season. I think he caught around 300 balls a week to work on that skill set, and he's gotten a whole lot better at it.
Do you have Donaldson at all?
I don't. He's fully moved to running back.
Running back, so there isn't any hybrid or anything?
Not yet. Trying to get him comfortable at one position. I would see sometime in the future that he probably could play it wide out, play in the hip at tight end, play it running back. Kid's a good player.
I was going to say, 240 and his athleticism, I guess a lot of coaches would be fighting for a kid like that.
Yeah, he's going to be a really good player. So I think I had him for a week. So, right.
Really talented athlete we like to take out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Say there?
Exactly. We just weren't that deep at running back at the time, and we had to make that move because he's athletic enough, as you say, to play just about anywhere on the field.
Did you have a chance, and it's just a week, I don't know how much you can do, but you certainly project a little bit. Could you see something with him as a tight end in that
He could play it without a doubt, and it's hard to say because I only had him probably for 3 or 4 practices in OTAs and I guess you call that the winter. But he's definitely strong enough to play it, athletic enough in the pass game to do it. But like I said before, like once he gets comfortable in the offense, he could be somebody that, maybe you get in 20 personnel and you line him up in the hip or you put him out there at wide out, but he's going to be special.
When you've got a kid like that, do you just give them a small amount of plays and let them be good at that before you start moving them around?
I think with CJ, I think Coach Scott's done a great job with him. I mean, he runs every play in our playbook that we got in right now. I don't think there's anything that we've limited him on. Kid is actually got a pretty high IQ in the football game, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does this year.
Back to Plunde, his blocking ability is whatever it notes most. So, how good is he there? What can you do with him? Maybe in conjunction with Michael O'Loughlin as 2 tight end sets.
Yeah, I mean he's really good in the run game. Has a good understanding of box numbers and what we're trying to do. We've simplified, I guess you could say, our rules in the tight end position so that we can play faster. He's got a really good understanding of it. Yeah, of course, if you can get to a point where you put him and Mike in the game at the same time, you got a pretty good 12 personnel set that you can be versatile in. So, we'll just have to see how that goes game plan to game plan and how much Mike can play.
Is there value there having him attached if you have struggles with tackle or things like that? Is he a capable guy?
He is. He's he can help in the pass protection game. He's pretty good at that. Everybody does it, chips and things like that. So, but he's pretty versatile when it comes to that run block pass pro.
I guess a kid about 260. What's he?
Yeah, I think he's sitting right around 255,
Okay.
258. Fluctuates between that and 260. Oh yeah. He's plenty big enough.
O'Loughlin hasn't done a lot of 11-on-11 work since he was injured last fall. So, if he plays the first game, how big of a disadvantage is it that he hasn't been out there much?
I don't know. I mean, he went full go yesterday. Got some 11-on-11 work in. Micah's a good player. We've still got 10 days left. So he's got plenty of time to get into the groove of it, got cleared. And, the big thing is just going to be at the conditioning level, how much he can go. But I anticipate him playing and playing enough.
I would imagine you go in that, though, in the back of your mind saying he's probably got a set number of plays I can expect because of the condition.
Yeah, and I think he's got a lot of say-so in that too about how he feels. I mean, just like anybody that's been injured. But he's looked good. I mean, he moved around pretty good yesterday, and he's done a really good job in the training room and then with Coach Mike Joseph about staying in shape and getting in shape. So I'm excited where he's at.
Has there been a goal over the past couple of years to build the numbers at tight end, maybe make it a bigger part of the passing offense in general? Some setbacks with transfers, with Mike obviously getting hurt a couple of times. Is it frustrating? Does it feel like one step forward, one step back?
I think early on you could say that, but we're pretty pleased where we're at in that room right now. I think we're as deep as we've been for guys that can go on the field and help us play. I mean, I think you can say probably for the first time since I've been here, we're truly 3 deep at tight end. In the past, we've had bodies, but probably playing-wise, we've been at max 2 deep. And some games we've gone into with 1, but right now I think we're 3 deep at tight end and got a lot of trust in Mike O'Brien and Traylon Davis.
There's a lot of skill set involved in that. And I know particularly like on the FCS level, a lot of those guys don't trickle down. They're usually dominated by the Power Fives. Is that a hard position to evaluate and get kids and get good kids?
It can be because, you gotta project in size. Like I wasn't here when Mike O signed here, but I'm sure y'all remember he wasn't very big. Right. So you have to project those type bodies. It's kind of like we took Will Dixon. He got here first day of fall camp. Well, he's 225 pounds now, but he's got a frame that looked very similar to when Mike O signed here. So it's a lot of projection in that because, there's just not a ton of tight ends out there. I mean, there's not. So you have to project those bigger athletic bodies, and hopefully you land on a couple of them.
How many tight ends did you have at Troy?
We probably had 5 or 6 in the room. Okay. Probably a good 2 deep, every now and then 3 deep, but very similar numbers.
So you mentioned Will Dixon. You go through your young tight ends like him. What do you see out of he, Corbin, even Victor Wickstrom?
Yeah, Victor's learning the offense. I think simplifying it's helped him out. He's having fun out there. He's got to get a little bit more physical in the run game. He's probably still a little ways away from that point. Corbin, it's hard to say because when we started fall camp, he got COVID, so he really didn't practice any in fall camp. So we had to use a week to kind of get him in shape, and I think he's really only been practicing a couple days. So hard to say on him. He's got to put some weight on, I'll say that. He's got to get bigger and stronger in the weight room. Will Dixon, he's probably a long ways away too, but he's starting to pick up on it. He went through fall camp. He was really just got here, July 31st. So he was learning it for the first time to where everybody else on the team had all summer to kind of go through the install a couple times. So it took him a little while to kind of pick up on the verbiage, but it's starting to click a little bit for him. Will runs really well for a tight end. He's another one that's got to put on some weight and get stronger, and that's going to come with time. But I think this fall will be big for him in the development process and kind of see where he sits going into and out of spring ball.
You mentioned Corbin. You haven't seen him much in the fall. You saw him a few times in OTAs in the summer. Again, developmental kid, obviously.
He is.
What do you see out of him?
He's athletic. The kid can make plays in the pass game, but to play tight end at this level, he's got to put on weight and he's just got to get stronger, lower half, upper body, kind of the whole works. But that's really any freshman tight end in a program. It's going to be very rare if somebody that young helps you out really early.
What is it about the tight end position that seems to get coaches or defensive coaches so up in arms? You ever hear a coach talk, the first thing they'll usually talk about is, okay, we got a tight end that we got to deal with. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
You probably have to ask defensive coaches that. From an offensive side of the ball, we use it to, a lot of defenses set their front on base where the tight end is, whether they're an over front, they put the three technique to him, or they're an under front where they put the shade, or, you know, is the tight end in the boundary? If they're odd, is their bandit going to be lined up on him? I mean, you can get some generic stuff, I guess is the easiest way to put it, when you got a tight end in there. A lot of these defenses today with all this spread attack, when you're in 10 personnel, they feel like they can throw the entire playbook at you. And
Look at Iowa State, how they've influenced the game with the way they've used their tight ends. A lot of people are going to that, including you guys to some degree.
yeah, I mean, I think it allows you to be a little bit more balanced. I mean, it's hard to run a ball in 10 personnel in today's game. I mean, defenses are so fast, you know, they can disguise so much. But, you know, you get an 11 personnel, especially if you've got a dual threat guy that can catch and run routes and block, you know, you can kind of be a little bit more balanced in that aspect of the offense.
You comfortable coaching tight ends now? I mean, you got
Oh, yeah.
8-9 months under your belt
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been coaching, what is this, 24? I think it's my 24th year. So on the offensive side of the ball, I've coached wideouts, quarterbacks, running backs. At college level, I've coached running backs and quarterbacks and now tight ends. So, I mean, football's football. Okay, like, as long as us as coaches don't try to overcomplicate it, it's football. It's about blocking, tackling, catching, running. I mean, that's what it is. And if you can keep it simple for whatever position you're coaching, your guys can play fast, and that's what our job's all about.
Kind of the career, though, Ark, if you coach a long time in college football, you're going to coach other positions.
You probably are. Now, I doubt I ever coach the offensive line. I mean, seriously, look at me.
Yeah.
But no, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, it's more than likely, if you're in it long enough, you're going to coach quite a few positions.
Yeah.
No, that was not. I was saying, thank goodness we've got Matt, because I don't know if I can handle them 5 up front. No, Matt does a great job with them. No, but I mean, I'm thrilled. Like, I'm having a blast. Like, my room, I love them to death. Those guys are awesome. They've bought into what we're trying to do, and they make it fun to come to work every day. They really do. It's a great room to coach. Appreciate it.